Once upon a time, nestled between rolling hills and a dense, mysterious forest, there lived a wealthy merchant with his 3 daughters. The 2 older daughters were vain and selfish, always dreaming of lavish gowns and grand parties. But the youngest, whose name was Belle, was as beautiful on the inside as she was on the outside. Her heart was pure, and her greatest joy came from reading books and tending to the roses in their garden. One day, a terrible storm raged across the sea, and the merchant's entire fleet of ships, laden with precious cargo, was lost. In an instant, their vast fortune vanished, and they were forced to move to a small, humble cottage in the countryside. The elder sisters complained endlessly, but Belle, with her resilient spirit, accepted their new life. She woke at dawn to clean the house, cook their meals, and cultivate a small vegetable patch, all without a single word of complaint. After some time, a glimmer of hope appeared. News arrived that one of the merchant's ships had survived the storm and had safely docked in a distant port. Overjoyed, the merchant prepared for the long journey. Before he left, he asked his daughters what gifts they desired upon his return. The oldest 2 immediately listed expensive dresses, sparkling jewels, and fancy accessories. But when he turned to Belle, she simply smiled and said, "All I wish for, dear father, is a single, perfect rose, for none grow in this part of the country." The merchant, touched by her simple request, promised to bring her the finest rose he could find. However, fate had another cruel twist in store. When the merchant reached the port, he discovered that his creditors had seized the ship's cargo to cover his debts, leaving him with nothing. Heartbroken and penniless, he began the long journey home. As night fell, a fierce blizzard descended upon the forest. Lost and shivering, his horse led him to a magnificent, yet eerie, castle hidden deep within the woods. The gates creaked open on their own, and he cautiously entered the courtyard. The castle was silent, but a warm fire crackled in the hearth, and a table was set with a delicious feast, as if someone was expecting him. He called out, but only his own voice echoed back. Exhausted and hungry, he ate the food and found a comfortable bed, deciding to thank his unseen host in the morning. The next day, as he was about to leave, he passed through a stunning rose garden. The bushes were covered in the most beautiful blossoms he had ever seen. Remembering his promise to Belle, he reached out and plucked a single, perfect red rose. At that very moment, a terrible roar shook the ground, and a monstrous beast appeared before him. The beast's eyes blazed with fury. "Ungrateful wretch," he bellowed. "I gave you food and shelter, and this is how you repay me. By stealing my most prized possession. For this, you will pay with your life." The merchant fell to his knees, terrified, and begged for mercy. He explained that the rose was a gift for his youngest daughter. The beast's expression softened ever so slightly. He made a deal: the merchant could go free, but only if he sent one of his daughters to live in the castle in his place. If no one came, he would have to return and face his fate. The merchant, seeing no other choice, agreed. When he arrived home, he was greeted with tears and despair. He recounted the terrifying encounter and the beast's demand. The elder sisters wailed, blaming Belle and her foolish request for a rose. But Belle, brave and selfless, stepped forward. "Do not weep, father," she said calmly. "It was my wish that caused this trouble, so it is I who must go. I will go to the castle and live with the beast." Despite her father's desperate protests, her mind was made up. The next morning, Belle journeyed to the enchanted castle. It was both magnificent and intimidating. The beast greeted her, not with a roar, but with a surprisingly gentle voice. "You have come of your own free will," he said. "You will not be a prisoner here. You are the mistress of this castle, and I am your servant." He showed her to a lavish room filled with books, beautiful clothes, and a magic mirror that could show her anything she wished to see. Life in the castle was strange. The beast was her only companion, but he was always kind and considerate. Every evening, they would dine together, and he would ask her the same question: "Belle, will you marry me?" And every evening, Belle would gently reply, "I cannot, beast." Though she was growing fond of him, his monstrous appearance still frightened her. She saw past his looks to the loneliness in his eyes, but she couldn't yet see him as a husband. Weeks turned into months. Belle spent her days reading in the vast library, exploring the enchanting gardens, and conversing with the beast. She discovered he was intelligent, well-read, and had a kind, if melancholic, soul. She began to look forward to their evenings together, no longer fearing his appearance. She realized that beneath the fearsome exterior was a gentle heart. The heart, she thought, matters most. One day, she looked into her magic mirror and saw her father, sick with grief, believing her to be dead. Her heart ached with sorrow. She went to the beast and pleaded with him to let her go home, just for a short while, to assure her father she was safe. The beast, who had fallen deeply in love with her, was heartbroken at the thought of her leaving. He feared she would not return. But seeing her tears, he couldn't bear her sadness. He agreed to let her go for 1 week. He gave her a magic ring, telling her, "When you wish to return, simply turn this ring on your finger, and you will be back in the castle." But he warned her, "Do not be late, for if you do not return, I will die of a broken heart." Belle returned home, and her family was overjoyed to see her alive and well. Her father's health immediately improved. Her older sisters, however, were secretly jealous of the luxurious life she described. They devised a cunning plan to make her stay longer than the week she was allowed. They sobbed and pleaded with her to stay, pretending they couldn't bear to lose her again. Belle, with her kind heart, was moved by their apparent affection and agreed to stay a few more days. On the 10th night, Belle had a terrible nightmare. She dreamt she was back in the castle garden, and the beast was lying on the ground, gasping for breath, near the very rosebush her father had taken from. She woke up in a panic, overwhelmed with guilt. She had broken her promise. She looked at the ring on her finger, turned it, and in an instant, she was standing in the castle garden. Her nightmare was real. The beast lay motionless by the rosebush, his eyes closed. He was fading away. Belle rushed to his side, cradling his great head in her lap. "Oh, beast, please don't die," she cried, her tears falling onto his face. "I'm back. I've realized that I love you. Please, live. I will marry you." As her words echoed through the garden, a magical light enveloped the beast. The ground trembled, and a brilliant transformation began. His monstrous form melted away, revealing a handsome, kind-eyed prince. He opened his eyes and smiled at her. "Belle," he said, his voice now clear and human, "your love has broken the curse." He explained that years ago, a wicked enchantress had turned him into a beast as punishment for his arrogance, a curse that could only be broken by true love. Belle's ability to see past his appearance and love the person within had set him free. The castle, once silent and eerie, came alive. The invisible servants reappeared as cheerful courtiers, also freed from the spell. The merchant was brought to the castle to live with them, and Belle and the prince were married in a grand celebration. Her love had not only saved the prince but had shown everyone that true beauty is found within the heart, and that love, in its purest form, has the power to conquer all, proving that it truly surpasses appearances. They lived happily ever after, their love a timeless reminder that what matters most is not what you see, but what you feel. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more classic tales.